I have no complaints about what I learned about ministry in seminary. I learned so much for which I'm eternally grateful. And seminary can't prepare you for every scenario that you face in ministry. In my first few years of ministry, I lost count of how many funerals that I had to preach for on the occasion of the suicide of professed Christians. I literally lost count. I did so many, and I don't think anybody in seminary tells you you're gonna do that in the first few years of your ministry. You're gonna see teenagers take their own lives. You're gonna see adult professing believers take their own lives, and you're gonna have to minister to the family and preach the truth and be faithful in a really, really hard context. But one thing that I did learn early on in ministry is simply to know my own limitations. It's really that's become a hallmark of my own approach to ministry, is to realize that I do not have in myself everything I need in order to minister faithfully to God's flock. And I need people around me that can do things better than I can. So early on in my ministry, I was serving a large congregation that had a history of very, very faithful and gifted pastors. And I realized as a young man, I was 35 when I started ministering in that congregation, that I needed somebody who was a better preacher than I was to help me preach to that congregation. And so my dear friend Derek Thomas agreed to come and serve as the minister of teaching to that congregation, and he and I shared the pulpit for 12 years. It was 12 of the happiest years of my life. And I knew when I asked him to come join me, there'd be some people that liked his preaching better than mine. But I also knew that if I was going to spoil my congregation rotten with faithful Bible exposition, I couldn't do it alone, because I was having to preach on average 3, 4, 5 times a week between the Sunday services, the Wednesday services, weddings, funerals, and other special talks. And I could not keep up with the pace of preparation. And so having Derek preach the word alongside of me faithfully to the people really helped build their appetite for good biblical exposition. And I could not have done that on my own. So learning your own limitations is one of those things that's part of ministry, and that's one of the things I learned early on in ministry. You can't do everything yourself. Bring people around you that are good at things that you're not good at to help you in ministry.